the one, no. Cause I know in my heart and my soul. If you do me jeje, me self I could follow, baby. Oh, if I enter your motor, pim pim pim, I could make you to shout, pum pum pum, pum pum pum. Oh, me I know to like it for my, so now you I want show my mama. Cause I'ma put you in a brand new bima. She go like be my shima.
It's Micah E on the beat.
Hey, this one na Sara Sara. The beat is tana tana. It go make you manya manya. Ines is in manya manya. Oh yeah, make you ricotta ricotta, mama Africa ricotta, hey. Make you dance, yeah, 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 yeah. Everybody ricotta ricotta, mama Africa ricotta, hey. Make you dance, yeah, 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 yeah. This one na Sara Sara. The beat is tana tana.
If I tell you you're the only one I want, the only one I need. If I tell you you're the one that makes my heart beat, sure you go believe. If I tell you say now you the rock my world, for you I give my all. If I tell you say now you the make my heart beat, sure you go believe. Girl, now you where I need. Now you did my dreams. You are the only one for me. Now you where I want. So believe that I love you for real. Oh, you dance for me, yeah. Shake it for me, baby, oh. You dance for your daddy. I wanna see you change all your body.
Alright, good morning, and welcome to Good Morning Cause it's right here on 106.9 FM Go, the radio, the heartbeat of dialogue. And of course, it's a very beautiful Wednesday morning. I'm so excited to be in the studio this morning, and I'm always excited to be in the studio because I am always in the studio with my pretty lady with the golden voice, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. This is Esther.
Oh my God, that is really warm. Thank you so much, Chike. Good morning, Coast City, and I'm so happy to be here this morning. And of course, it's always a pleasure to be seated here with my very amazing co-anchor for this show, Chike.
So amazing.
So I hope you had a good sleep last night. I hope you had a peaceful sleep last night.
Yeah, of course. I had a very I had a good sleep last night, and it was peaceful as well.
Was it long? Was it long enough?
It was
Definitely
short.
not.
It was short. But how can a young man be sleeping long enough?
Okay.
You've not got it to your target and you're sleeping long enough. Check him now.
Young men, he's actually challenging you guys. Don't sleep long. Don't sleep for long hours, okay?
But don't deny yourself sleep. I beg you. Say you dey push money. You don't come die. Say you dey push money.
That's not sustainable now.
All right, this is Good Morning City, and of course, we're so excited to have you with us this beautiful Wednesday morning. And remember, you can join us live on YouTube at Go Uni Radio 106.9 FM and on Facebook and Instagram at 106.9 Go Uni Radio. And today is a very special day. Today is International Day of
Women and Girls in Science,
and it's a very exciting day because we are in a university community, and we are focused so much on education and science development as well. And certainly we are going to be having two pretty women in the house this morning to talk about women and girls in science.
Amazing women
as it relates to Nigeria. Don't worry, we have a lot of stuff for you. And remember how we always do it right here on Good Morning Coal City. We will be bringing your way the motivation for the morning. Esther is quite ready with that. Ready. Yes, always ready, of course. So I'm actually itching to hear what she has to say today, because yesterday's message was very spontaneous, and then it helped me to navigate through the day.
That's beautiful.
And I consider yesterday as an accomplished day for me, because it was incredible. Esther,
clock it,
so
clock it, guys.
Sharp.
Oh my God, I love it.
I love that. Esther the clocker. And then that will take us to our weather report, and of course from there we will go straight up into our top stories for today. But right about now, Esther will tell us what we're supposed to feel today and what you're supposed to allow to guard you. So I'm ready. My pen and paper is ready, and
your heart
so
is ready.
kicking, and my heart is ready. My heart is open to accept and receive every single thing. Esther,
amen, brother. Oh my God. Let me just keep it coming now. All right, good morning, Coal City, and happy Wednesday, the 11th of February 2026. I mean, we're right in the middle of the week, and for many people, this is where the tiredness starts to show, okay? If you're feeling a little drained, a little overwhelmed, or just trying to push through, this message is for you. Okay, you've already made it this far, and that means something. Even on the days when progress feels slow or unnoticed, your efforts still count. Don't ever underestimate the power of simply showing up and doing your best. It's good enough that you're coming up showing up every day. You keep doing what you're doing, even though you're not seeing results in real time. But it's, progress is usually can be slow sometimes, and that doesn't mean you're not doing anything. So if you've already made it this far, it means something. Today doesn't require perfection. It just asks for honesty with yourself, with your limits, and with your pace. Take things one step at a time, okay? Focus on what you can control and release the rest. If something weighs on your mind today, remember you don't have to carry it alone, okay? Say a quiet prayer. I'm one person who always encourages people to pray, okay? Prayer helps have a way of relieving you of so much burden and stress, because you're laying everything at the Lord's feet. So ask for help. Also ask for help whenever you need it. Don't be afraid to ask for help. You should have one or two people that you can confide in at any time. And again, give yourself permission to pause when things feel like it's getting too much. As you move through this Wednesday, be kind to yourself, okay? And to people around you. Say kind words to yourself. Speak kind things to yourself. Let patience guide your reactions, and let hope guide your steps. From I and Chike here this morning, we're wishing you strength for the rest of the week, calm in your heart, and clarity in your mind. And like what I said earlier, good morning, Coal City. So I wish you a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful morning.
Yeah, there's something they said about prayer, which is quite important. Prayer has a way of keeping you calm. Through the storm, it has a way of giving you this reassurance that perhaps somebody's actually listening. Yeah, you believe that God is listening, and then it helps to re-energize you, right?
That's true.
And Esther is a prayer warrior, ladies and gentlemen.
Prayer warrior,
but it doesn't mean you should come to her for a prayer. Pray out yourself.
I'm telling you, pray out yourself.
All right, thank you so much, Esther, for that. And that, as usual, is always a very
always a pleasure. I told you how much I love doing this. This is like the highlight of my day. An opportunity to pour into others. I feel like naturally I'm kind of what do you call it? Someone who pours into people.
Yeah.
And whenever I do that, I just feel fulfilled. I think this is always the highlight of my day. I love doing this.
And the Lord shall keep pouring back.
Amen. Amen, brother.
Hallelujah. All right, this is the Good Morning Call City, and up next we're going to look at what the weather holds for us today, and Esther is ready with the weather report.
All right, so guys, for today, Tuesday, 11th of February 2026, as usual, we're going to start the forecast from Lagos. So Lagos will experience a cloudy start to the day with light rain in some areas and a gentle breeze. Temperatures will rise to a high of 31 degrees Celsius, dropping to about 25 degrees at night. As the day goes on, cloud cover is expected to thicken and thunderstorms are likely later in the afternoon or evening. So it will do you a lot of good if you wear light, breathable cotton clothing just to stay comfortable in the humid weather. And of course, get ready in the evening because there's at least chances of thunderstorms later in the afternoon or in the evening. And then moving to the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. Abuja will be seeing sunny breaks with light winds this morning, starting around 24 degrees Celsius. The afternoon will be very hot, climbing to about 37 degrees, with thundery activities expected over parts of the Federal Capital later in the day or in the evening. So try to stay indoors and in shaded areas if you're going to be out and if you're going to be out in the day, just stay in shaded areas and don't spend too much time under the sun. And even if you do, because some people just have to, make sure you're with your water bottle, you're always staying hydrated, and of course wear breathable clothing. Now, off north in Kano will be sunny but hazy with a cool morning low of about 18 degrees Celsius. By afternoon, temperatures will rise sharply to around 36 degrees, bringing dry and dusty conditions typical of this season. So in Kano, if you're in Kano, use face masks where possible and moisturize your skin to protect against the dry Hamilton air. And now downtown in the southwest, Ibadan starts the day with drizzle and light winds. Afternoon temperatures will reach about 33 degrees Celsius with a 40% chance of thunderstorms later in the day. So try to drink plenty of water just to cope with the heat and the changing weather conditions. And moving on to Port Harcourt. Port Harcourt City remains cloudy with thunderstorms expected from morning through the evening. Temperatures will peak at around 31 degrees Celsius with persistent rain in some areas. So if you are in Port Harcourt, just carry everywhere you're going, just carry your umbrella with you because it's gonna come in handy. And finally, here at home in Enugu will be mostly cloudy this morning with occasional sunny breaks. Temperatures will rise to about 34 degrees Celsius with a low of 23 degrees at night. Thundery activity is expected in parts of the city during the afternoon or in the evening. So just make sure you're prepared for the sudden changes in weather. It's going to be hot in the afternoon, and there are chances of rainfall in the evening. And yeah, just wear breathable clothing. Go out there with your water bottle. Okay, we will keep saying this, and I keep saying this to myself because I have a problem with drinking water.
No, terrible habits with not drinking water.
I'm trying, guys.
You don't drink water at all. I don't understand why people will be walking around and they can be.
I know the importance of water.
Come on, jeez, what is life without water?
And it's not coming from a place of ignorance. It's just I just don't get thirsty. I have to intentionally tell myself, okay, you need to take water.
But you drink Coke a lot.
No, I don't. I don't really take carbonated drinks. I only take them. But I don't take. I think take them once a week. But I'm trying my best, guys. And if you're like me who don't get thirsty easily, just make sure intentionally. What I do is I set alarms just to make sure I remind myself to take water. So right, that's your weather report for this morning.
Alright, and that is the weather report. Thank you so much, Esther, for that. We're going to go on a short musical break, and when we come back, we'll look through our top 10 stories for today. Remember, today is International Day for Women and Girls in Science, and then, of course, by 8 o'clock, we will be having a very good we're going to be having some guests in the studio where we are going to dissect what it means for ladies, for girls and women in science in Nigeria and Africa, and of course how we can help expand the horizon of science development, especially for women and girls. Alright, stay tuned, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. This is the Good Morning Call City. Remember, you can join us live on YouTube at Go in the Radio 106.9 FM and on Facebook and Instagram at 106.9 Go in the Radio. Go up there and engage us, drop a comment, and of course you're gonna see myself and the pretty lady Esther with the golden voice. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
Right.
And not touch the dial.
Don't touch that dial.
I beg, not touch the dial. Will they come?
1069. We are the heart of All City lives. Go Uni Radio, real station.
Alright, welcome back to Good Morning Coal City, and that was Medicine by
the Caveman.
The Caveman, of course, and I love Caveman.
He does love Caveman.
Welcome back to Good Morning Coal City. This is time for us to look through our top stories for today, and as compiled by Esther. Esther is ready to give us the first story for today.
Alright, for the first story this morning, Enugu Air acquires new aircraft. Oh, this is good news for us. Enugu Air, operated by Jet, has announced the arrival of its newest aircraft, the Embraer 195, marking another step in its commitment to providing safe, reliable, and efficient air travel services. In a statement signed by the Chief Executive Officer of Jet, Mr. Emmanuel Iza, the airline acknowledged the support and vision of the Enugu State Governor, Dr. Peter Mba, whose commitment to aviation development, it said, continues to strengthen connectivity and drive economic growth in the region. He added that the acquisition represents further progress in the airline's expansion plans as it builds a career that customers can rely on, while promising the introduction of additional services in the coming weeks. Enugu Air is a Nigerian airline owned by the Enugu State Government, and it was launched as a state-owned carrier in July 2025 as part of efforts to boost regional air connectivity, economic activity, and local aviation development. What do you think about it?
Well, I would say congratulations to Enugu State.
Yes, it's a win.
Enugu State government, and it's actually good that a state is a cosmopolitan state like Enugu is having an airline, and it's long overdue. And of course, the current administration made it happen, and then I'm so happy that at least we are witnessing growth.
Yeah, this actually adds our economy, and it boosts our economy. Enugu
of
State
course,
economy,
it boosts the IGR of the state.
Yeah.
It boosts revenue generation generally for the state, and then it's a very it's a great one
it's
for
a good
the
one.
state. So what we are looking forward to is sustainability.
Yes.
After this administration, at least subsequent ones, successive administrations will sustain it. All right. Still on our top stories for today, we have health workers seek government dialogue as strike lingers. The story has it that health workers in Lagos State on Tuesday called on the government to reopen negotiations to end a strike that has entered its third month, highlighting persistent fault lines, overpay, professional recognition, and control within Nigeria's public health system. Members of the joint health sector unions have been on strike since 2nd December 2025, paralyzing services in public hospitals across the country's commercial hub. Union leaders say the stoppage reflects years of unresolved grievances and failed talks with state authorities and illustrates deeper problems of equity and morale in a health workforce already strained by staff shortages and rising demand. Esther?
I think that the federal government really needs to listen to this because their complaints, their concerns are valid, right? Our government,
of course,
our health sector, they're very important because it's not just the public sector, the private sector. We need these people to be always on ground, taking care of the health of the people of the public. So if they decide to go on strike, we're all going to hurt. We're going to feel the heat of this. So the government should listen to them, and then they should create an avenue for them to have a peaceful dialogue so that they can continue working.
You know, this dialogue actually didn't start today. It's been look at the demands. It's been years of broken promises, and they're actually asking for simple thing: improved welfare, look at our pay, and just general welfare of health workers. And already we are lagging behind when it comes to health professionals, because the Japa syndrome is health sectors is actually worst hit with the brain drain syndrome in the country. And unfortunately they have been on strike since 2nd December. Johesi has been on strike since 2nd December 2025, and it just doesn't make sense that till now we still have these guys on strike. Well, I just hope the government rises to the occasion, but unfortunately they have refused to do the needful. But strike has always remained the only way
to bring the government to their knees.
Exactly, unions exert their pressure on the government. But I just hope this stops immediately.
Right. For the next story this morning, Electoral Act amendment. Opposition protests as senators back manual results transmission. The Senate on Tuesday bowed to intense public pressure and approved the electronic transmission of election results to the Independent National Electoral Commission's result viewing portal, while permitting manual collation to serve as a backup where technology fails. The decision followed an emergency reconsideration of a disputed clause in the Electoral Act, Repeal and Reenactment Amendment Bill 2026, after days of nationwide outrage, street protests, and sustained criticisms from opposition figures, civil society organizations, and youth movements. However, the upper chamber stopped short of making electronic transmission compulsory and rejected calls for the explicit inclusion of real-time upload of results, a key demand by protesters who accused lawmakers of attempting to weaken electoral safeguards ahead of the 2027 general elections. Under the reviewed provision, presiding officers at polling units are required to electronically transmit results to the portal after voting and documentation have been completed. The amendment, however, provides that where electronic transmission cannot be carried out due to communication and network challenges, the manual result sheets shall become the primary basis of collation and declaration. What do you think about this, Chike?
It actually doesn't make sense, because we are talking about transmission of results, and then with what they did, they said where the electronic transmission becomes a problem due to network issues, they can revert back to manual. You and I know Nigeria.
There's always a loop. They're creating what I know Nigeria.
So the point is, people will certainly keep, because there will always, this election, for crying out loud, is something that everybody wants to manipulate. In fact, most people have been manipulating. It just makes nonsense of the whole reform process. It makes nonsense of the whole current reform we're talking about.
Right.
I believe it should be, for crying out loud, INEC's budget for this year is 1.1 trillion naira. What stops INEC from ensuring that all the polling units in the country has adequate internet services? They can. Just liaising with Starlink or liaising with any network provider to give them special concessions, special services. But this is Nigeria. This is
everything we need to do. It's doable. It's just that people are trying to find.
The whole conversation we're having about this electoral reform is just ridiculous, because we know that, for crying out loud, we're not the only country doing election in Africa.
Right.
Well, let's not even go to the first world, the second world. When I'm talking about Africa, we're not the only country doing. South Africa did theirs, and everything was done within few hours.
Right.
But ours,
as well.
I don't know what to say again.
That's the only thing we can say. Is well. It's well with
But
Nigeria.
the thing is, it is left for us citizens to maintain the pressure momentum.
I'm really proud of Nigeria.
Ensure that these very, very ridiculous individuals who call themselves our lawmakers, does the right thing.
Yes.
All right, still on our top stories for today. We have Electoral Act, opposition must unite. Mixed transmission will cause chaos. That's coming from the former Vice President Atiku Abubakar. All right. The story has it that ex-Vice President Atiku Abubakar on Tuesday called on opposition political parties to unite in advocating for transparent and credible elections, stressing the urgent need for a fully electronic transmission system to reduce confusion in Nigeria's electoral process. At a press briefing in Minna, Niger State, following a closed-door meeting with former military President General Ibrahim Babangida, Atiku said the current mixture of electronic and manual transmission could create challenges for voters and electoral officials. The expectations of Nigerians who are expecting real-time electronic transfer to the various levels of the elections, but what we got is a mixture of electronic and manual transmissions, which is going to cause more confusion or chaos than if we have a single tier, electoral transmission system, which is real-time electronic. That will be our preference, and I think there is need for all the opposition political parties to come together to pursue this issue, according to the former vice president.
I agree with him, because I don't understand why we cannot stick with electronic means, or we don't even want to go back to manual. We don't want to do that. So they should just they can do it, just like we said earlier. This is something that is doable. So these lawmakers should. Anyways, the job is on. We have to play our part. We have to keep mounting pressures on this pressure.
Our part is to mount the pressure, and there's something cardinal he said for opposition parties to come together. I don't even understand what's wrong with our opposition parties. Funny enough, unfortunately, it seems like we really don't have real opposition parties based on ideology. Just different individuals who just
have different political interests.
Yeah, of course, certainly in every climb you have different individuals with different political climb. But the point is, having certain principles guiding you and making you stick to your position, stick to your party. But then it's very paramount for opposition parties to join forces together and ensure that we exert the real pressure, because this is democracy. It's not just an authoritarian. It's not an authoritarian.
No, it's for us.
It's for everybody, including opposition. We are stakeholders in the polity. It's for us to rise up and say this is what we need, and certainly it has to be provided.
Yes. Moving on to the next story this morning. Under fire, Trump Commerce Secretary confirms he visited Epstein's Island. U.S. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick has confirmed that he visited Jeffrey Epstein's Island in 2012, contradicting previous claims that he had cut ties with a sex offender years earlier before he was convicted. I did have lunch with him as I was on a boat going across on a family vacation, Lutnick testified on Capitol Hill on Tuesday. My wife was with me, as were my 4 children and nannies. We had lunch on the island. That is true, for an hour. Correspondence about the visit was included in an Epstein document released by the U.S. Department of Justice. Some lawmakers have called on Lutnick to resign, but on Tuesday, the White House said he had the full support of the United States President Donald Trump. All right, I think that's all we can take for this particular story.
Yeah, this Jeffrey Epstein scandal is actually if we profession against politicians.
This man kept receipts for every single person connected with him. And I'm glad that everybody that associated with him and did all those things, they're coming out to book. I just love the way they release the file.
The issue is just, and the unfortunate thing is, just because because he was a criminal, every form of association comes with questioning, because you can still have relative business with him without having to be part of the whole sinister acts that he committed. But then unfortunately a lot of people are just falling, because across Europe so many politicians are resigning because of their connection to Jeffrey Epstein. Well, with due cause we'll still hear more.
Funny enough, only one person has been convicted. I mean, amongst all those people, only one person, although they said investigations are still going. But well, it's a mystery. The things that happen when it comes to the Epstein files is just crazy. But then let's just move on.
Alright, still on our top stories, we have police confirm abduction of 14 passengers in Benue. The story has it that the Benue State Police Command has confirmed the abduction of 14 passengers traveling from the Igede axis of Oju and Obi local government area of the state. The police spokesperson DSP Udeme Edet confirmed the incident, which occurred along the Okpoku axis of the state on Monday evening, saying investigations were ongoing. Concerning the abduction of passengers on the Okpoku road, it is true that it happened. Investigation into the incident is ongoing and we are on top of the situation, Edet said. The passengers were reportedly traveling to the southwest when their vehicle was intercepted around 7 p.m. on Monday along the Okpoku axis. The incident occurred less than 48 hours after 9 worshippers were abducted during a vigil at St. John's Catholic Church, Ojije, in Utonkon, Ado local government area of Benue State. It was learned that two of the passengers were shot and died instantly during the attack. A local source who spoke to correspondents on the phone from Makodi said the passengers departed Ihejwo Market in Oju local government area around 7 p.m. According to the eyewitness reports, they passed through the Utonkon or Odapo Obuga road in Benue State when the kidnappers stopped them and took 15 passengers into the bush. One person was shot dead when the driver initially refused to stop, the source said.
This is tragic. This is another reminder that we still have a serious problem of insecurity in our country, and it's really sad that 2 people lost their lives and others have been abducted. And I just hope that as investigations are already been they have already been carried out, that they be found and that these people will be arrested.
We need to also remind ourselves that it's unfortunate that it has become a normal thing.
Just like you said, it's an industry now.
It's now a normal thing, and then we read the news. We just read the news as a normal thing, and everybody moves on.
Jeez, we're losing our empathy gradually. We're seeing these things as normal. These killings, these abductions, it's becoming a normal thing, and I think that our empathy is being directly hit, and it's being torn apart. And I just hope that we remind ourselves that behind these headlines, there are families that are grieving, there are families that are mourning the loss of a loved one, and I hope that we keep fighting for what we want: security, safety in our home. This is our home. We're not going anywhere. But anyways,
our prayers are with the victims and their family as well, and then we'll pray and we hope that they are released in bits.
Yeah. All right. For the very last story this morning, Eagles await World Cup fate ahead playoffs. There is growing confidence within the Nigeria Football Federation that the Super Eagles could receive another lifeline in their bid to qualify for the 2026 World Cup as the country awaits FIFA's verdict on the protest against DR Congo. After losing the final of the African playoffs to Democratic Republic of Congo on penalties in Morocco last November, Nigeria's hopes of reaching the tournament in the United States, Canada and Mexico were rekindled following a protest by the NFF alleging that DR Congo fielded ineligible players during the series. The intercontinental playoffs are scheduled to take place from March 26 to 31 in Mexico, where DR Congo have been drawn to face the winner of the tie between New Caledonia and Jamaica for a chance to claim one of the 2 available World Cup slots. As the playoffs draw near, a verdict from FIFA is expected soon, and the NFF remains confident in the process. What do you think about this, Chike? Just like we are also
we can't get the World Cup through the back door now.
Well, it's not really bad. They just those people when they won us, Congo, when they won us, we knew what happened on the field. Their players were ineligible, right? So this is another opportunity for us to actually come back. If Nigeria doesn't play the World Cup, I'll be so hurt. We didn't play the last time.
You will drink water, don't worry.
I will not drink water. I'm not comfortable with that.
Okay, you will drink water, alright. But then we can enter the World Cup through the back door. Whatever the appeal we are doing, we no qualify. Maybe let's move on.
Move on. I don't want to move on. We have to find a way.
Alright, certainly we'll have to find a way, but then at the end of the day, let the better teams go out there. Right. Super Eagles did well during the Nations Cup, and of course we didn't qualify for the World Cup. We'll wait for another 4 years for us to qualify, unfortunately.
I don't want to think about that.
Alright, time check is 4 minutes past the half 8, and just as we mentioned earlier on, today is International Day of Women and Girls in Science. And of course we have a radio special this beautiful morning. We have in the studio already seated Dr. Chidinma Okafor and Ogechukwu Nwolisah. Of course, we're going to go on a short musical break, and when we come back, we will properly introduce these pretty ladies, accomplished ladies in the studio this morning, and let's talk about women in science and as it relates to Nigeria and Africa in general. Stay tuned, don't go anywhere. This is the Good Morning Call City right here on 106.9 FM. Remember, you can join us live on YouTube at Go Uni Radio 106.9 FM and on Facebook and Instagram at 1069 Go Uni Radio. And of course, when you go out there, drop your comments, your questions for the ladies in the studio, and of course it's gonna be an engaging discussion, and you're gonna see myself and the pretty lady with the golden voice, Esther, sitting beside me. Right. So let's go on the short break, and we'll come right back. The discussion goes on.
Yeah.
You're now tuned in to Go Uni Radio.
You get the baby way I want to talk about. Call like me, call me Chidinma. You supposed remember that she dey live for roundabout. If you want to get, I dey come one day to Laura. On the make a desk, I go for you feel alright. They get a mess, but you lego you see Laura. Everybody love him, on your bona boya. Achalugo, show them how you do it. Achalugo, see my kiss you. Then what I did not happen, I'm going. Nebulala, the baby, you go there for you go here. I work out for us, I work out for no else. You don't know if you're the mamma, so
ladies and gentlemen, guess who is bursting our show today with elegance and gorgeous Achalugo, who is turning heads tonight. Watch out on Ugo Nation TV, and let's get back to the red carpet.
This is 106.9 Go Uni Radio, real station.
Alright, welcome back to Good Morning Call City, and just as we said before we went on that short musical break, we have in the studio but before we go straight to the people we have in the studio, today is International Day for Women, and International Day of Women and Girls in Science, and every 11th February is always the day selected by the United Nations to celebrate women and girls in science, and this year the same is Science for Inclusive Futures for Women and Girls. And the theme of International Day of Women, according to the United Nations, the theme of International Day of Women and Girls in Science 2026 is synergizing AI, social science, STEM, and finance, building inclusive futures for women and girls. And of course, we have in the studio
two amazing women. I'm going to take it off from here. So as we mark the 2026 International Day of Women and Girls in Science, we're honored to host two exceptional voices, like I said earlier, who are at the forefront of scientific advancement and advocacy. Now, joining us this morning is Dr. Chidinma Okafor, who is a food scientist, a senior lecturer, director of Linkages and Collaboration at Godfrey Okoye University, and founding coordination of OWSD. Please, you actually tell us what that means later. And a passionate champion for women in science and research collaboration. You're very welcome, ma'am. Good morning.
Thank you so much.
All right. And also with us this morning is Ogechukwu Nwolisah, who is a scientist and science instructor at DNALC Center, Nigeria, who is actively inspiring the next generation through hands-on science education and innovation. You're very welcome, ma'am. We are really glad to have you this morning. Well, welcome.
Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you so much. Now, together we will be dissecting what it truly means to be a woman or a girl in science today. The challenges, the breakthroughs, the opportunity, and of course, what Nigeria and Africa have to gain when women and girls are fully empowered in STEM. So stay with us. This is a conversation that truly matters. I'm sure you're going to be very educated this morning. Yeah.
All right, thank you so much for joining us, Dr. Chidinma, and I know you have a very busy schedule, and making our time to join us this morning is fabulous to us. Seriously,
Yes.
we so much celebrate you coming around to join us this beautiful Wednesday morning. And just as we mentioned earlier on, we're celebrating women in science, and of course, we want to look at it from different dimensions, and as it relates to ladies, girls in science, and being in Godfrey Okoye University and being a citadel of knowledge and trying to expand the horizon of education for women. And guys, I won't forget guys, but today
women.
We are so happy to have you in the studio. So I want to start with Dr. Chidinma. From your professional experience, Doc, and I want to ask you this: how critical is the inclusion of women and girls in science to Nigeria's scientific growth, and what gaps do you still see in our system today?
Okay, thank you so much for bringing me here once again. I'm grateful. So, from my understanding and thoughts, I would say that inclusion of women is essential. It's not optional. Our Nigerian population, for example, we have about half of the population are women. So you can imagine if women are not included, then we're losing out a lot. And that brings us to the understanding that half of our that means we are half of our scientific potential is actually being affected. And what do we see? What are the major gaps we see in this growth? One of the challenges most ladies are having are limited access to mentorship. Sometimes as ladies we don't have role models or mentor who guides us through and how to take the right decisions at critical points in our life. Because when you pass certain stage, you now you start regretting, if I had known, or there was someone to guide us. So limited access to mentorship is key. Poor funding opportunities, sometimes weak institutional support, low representation of women in leadership in terms of science. There's this impression that science is mostly for men, so the ladies tend to shy away. So I think that it's essential that women are included in the scientific world.
All right, thank you so much, man, for that. And okay, you're a science instructor, and then at least you interact so much with students. And unfortunately, in the science field right now, at least I'm using Godfrey Okoye University as an example. So many of the students in most science courses are vast majority of them are women. Unfortunately,
what do you mean by unfortunately?
Because it seems like all the boys are running away. We want to go pushing back. But at the end of the day, women are actually taking the lead. So how do you see what are some of the gaps you've actually noticed ever since you been functioning as a science instructor with DNALC Learning Center Nigeria?
Well, some of the gaps, not particularly even among students, because these gaps are on different levels. I would say at early career level, not really early career, but secondary and primary schools, you see that some subjects, even in sciences, are designated to guys. Sometimes you hear that some courses are not feminine, some subjects are not feminine, subjects like physics, mathematics, and it kind of puts an anxiety on the ladies, the girls, because sometimes when they have to write maths exams or maths assignments, they say, "Oh, the guys know them better. I can't do it. Guys do it better." And then when you go to courses like engineering and then some tech courses in the universities, you will see that the ratio of boys to girls is like 10 boys to 2 girls. And sometimes when you come out as an engineer or a student, an undergraduate studying engineering, you tell someone, "Oh, I'm studying engineering," and then the person be like, "You in a guy's world?" So I can remember my younger sister, she studied petroleum engineering, and then as an undergraduate she posted her picture with her overall and helmet, and someone commented under the post saying, "This small girl, can you carry tools?" so some jobs or some careers are designated to guys. So I can say that some gaps we see in these gender bias gaps. And then we have also limited visibility. We have a lot of women doing so well in science, but their stories are often not told. Even when they are told, they are not told enough. Just like Dr. Chidinma talked about mentorship. Some girls need to look up to them, but they don't even hear their stories to even look up to them as role models.
Wow, that's beautiful, and this is exactly what I'm talking about when we talk about women and girls in science. Look at them speaking about women and girls in science. I'm really excited because I myself am a science student, right? I'm studying biology education, and even though it's in education, but it's still science, right? So yeah, this is very important for young girls, for young women, and I'm really grateful we're having this conversation. Now, for the next question this morning I have is if Africa truly invests in women and girls in science through education, research, funding, and policy support, what tangible gains should we expect in areas like healthcare, agriculture, technology, and national development? And this first question, I want Dr. Chidinma to answer it first before Auntie Ogi takes it over. All right.
I would say that the gain it's numerous. For example, they tell you when you train a woman, you train a nation.
Right.
So that, with that said, and you know, growing up then, when you see a young man who is not being responsible, they'll say he should go and marry Kanonya and wine so that he can become responsible.
True.
And then you see that over time, by the time he gets married and has first child, the man begins to come home and begins to behave well over time. So women being in science would actually create a balance and bring a lot of improvement in Africa and Nigeria as a whole. For example, in the healthcare system, you know, women are mothers. When a mother nurtures a child, it's completely different and better than, wouldn't say better, but there's always,
yes,
I don't want to be biased here, exactly. but the gap is there.
Mm-hmm.
So when women are included in healthcare system, you see better outcomes. They are more passionate, they're more considerate. Yeah. You know, when you have male doctors, so for example, there are certain health cases where a lady will not be comfortable talking to a male doctor.
True.
So if you have a lady in that healthcare system who is a female doctor, then we'll be more comfortable to discuss some very personal and private things. So you get that,
yes,
right?
Ma'am.
Then we talk about agriculture. And when you have ladies there putting the gardens together, it's completely different than when it's just men.
Yes, men.
And so there are so many examples if we keep talking about them. So basically, the inclusion of women will bring a lot of gain and improvements to the world at large.
Right, that's it. Okay, what do you think about this?
Okay, just to add to what Dr. Chidinma said, you know, she mentioned firstly that if you train a woman, you train a nation. So investing in women is not charity. It's providing them, when you provide women with the platform, the fundings, the tools, and the resources, the returns benefits the entire nation.
Mm-hmm.
So if Nigeria is genuine in sustained investments, especially regarding women through STEM programs, educational programs, and prioritizing female-led projects, issuing them grants and scholarship, I think we can realistically say that there will be an improvement in our healthcare system, improvement in our agricultural sector, just as Dr. Chidinma said, even in our tech sector, and then nation development, our GDP would rise ultimately, and it would reduce poverty even amongst women.
Yes, you've spoken well. Thank you so much for giving us your perspective on that. Now, for the third question this morning, what do you think are the major barriers preventing Nigerian girls from pursuing science careers? Is it cultural, economic, institutional, and how we can, government, schools, and of course families realistically address them? How do you think you can actually address these problems?
The first question you asked were some of the barriers.
Yes, barriers.
Okay. Just like Chike said at the initial stage, you said a lot of women are studying sciences, which is true. When you go to departments like microbiology and biochemistry in public universities, you see a lot of girls studying it. But at the end of the day, you don't see them in the workforce. You don't see them progressing into that career because economic pressures to make money, to start making money, because even in hiring you find out that there is bias in hiring. They want to hire a guy, take for instance an engineering job, they want to hire a guy over a girl. So these are barriers. And then when you talk about early marriage in the northern Nigeria, a girl that has to do with early marriage or teen pregnancy would not continue education. So these are some of the barriers you see that prevent girls from furthering in science. And then government, institutions, private sectors can address this by bringing up research grants that prioritizes female-led projects, scholarships, mentorship programs, mentorship opportunities, and government funding, some policies that would address some of these issues. And then even as individuals, as a young girl, you have to have this I can do spirit. These barriers are there. If the government have, if all of these are addressed and the young girl doesn't have this I can do spirit, then it doesn't make sense, because at the end of the day, it's all the resources are being wasted and it's flushed down the drain.
Yeah, thank you so much. That's really beautiful. And what about you, Dr. Chidinma? What do you think about? Do you have any other barriers, or do you think there are other barriers that affect young girls from taking up careers in science?
Yeah, I think Oge has said a great number, but maybe just to add to what she has said, like referring to basically the gender bias issue, there's this mindset that science is tough, science is difficult, and science are mainly for men, so we the ladies don't have the strength to take up on it. So I think that's a major barrier. Okay, I think going down to my story, I wanted to be a lawyer. As a young girl, I just because I love the way they dress and the English they spoke. But then to my SS1, I told my mom, she said, no, it depends on the subjects you do better, you are good at. So by the time I wrote my exams, I realized that I did excellently well in science subjects, but in arts, I wasn't doing too well. I was just on the average. And she told me clearly, as much as you want to be a lawyer, your strength is in science. Why don't you continue with it? And I'm very grateful for that encouragement, because today I look back and I'm really happy that I continued in science. So if maybe I had a mom or parents who didn't understand or wasn't there to encourage me and telling me you can do science, just keep it open, maybe I won't be here today. So a strong barrier there is lack of mentorship, lack of guidance, lack of making ladies understand that that science is achievable, that God has given us equal grace and we should be able to handle it. And just like when you find environments like Godfrey Okoye University, where the school tries to include and encourage ladies at leadership position, it encourages you as a scientist to know that there is a place for you to fit in. So we need more support and government inclusion to that.
Thank you so much. That was really beautiful. Thank you so much, Ms. Oge and Dr. Chidinma. I really appreciate that. And then moving on to the fourth question I have for you both this morning. Many African countries are pushing for scientific innovation, right? So how can empowering women in science give Nigeria and Africa a competitive edge over other countries globally in research and innovation and problem solving? How can it help? Taking care of teaching children, young girls and women, education, that's science. How can it help them, Nigeria and Africa, have a competitive edge in research globally? What do you think about this? I'll start with Dr. Chidinma.
Okay, I would say that one of the key things one of the first support is that making us see results. Like one of the things you find our Vice Chancellor in Godfrey Okoye always tell us, where's the evidence?
Yes, the evidence, yes.
So that should encourage. That's something that if we can create and be loud about scientific innovations, little things that matter, it's going to help a lot of other young girls to sit up. A good example is, for example, when you want to make cake, the ingredients in cake making are not very interesting. Licking your butter, your flour and all that, but when they are all mixed together in the right proportion and baked, the aroma is heavenly. And then the cake itself, when it's ready, kids, everybody's dancing around to eat. So if we are conscious about converting laboratory research into practical applications, and also encouraged in the media and many other places, it will really encourage innovation for the women, if generally, because just like Oge said earlier, it sounds like it's more the men are projected more in terms of innovations and achievements than you hear the ladies do that. Yes, as ladies, sincerely, we have responsibilities that could distract us a lot from doing very impactful output. However, if we can accept our place and be encouraged in that capacity, we will understand that little by little, it's all going to add up one day to create very impactful innovations in Africa. So no matter how small it is, we need to be encouraged to achieve more.
That's beautiful. That is really, I have to say, that's beautiful. Thank you so much for that beautiful perspective. What about you, Miss Ogi? What do you think about this?
Okay, empowering women by including them in some of this economically, it helps to boost productivity, and then it also directs growth. There are drivers of growth. So let's say, for instance, a woman is leading in startups or for tech STEM fields that we have women as leaders. These women will ultimately create an ecosystem that retains talent. And not just creating an ecosystem that retains talent, they would bring the country to, how do I put it, empowering women in science makes research not just locally relevant, but globally competitive. It puts the country, not just Nigeria, even the continent Africa, on a world stage. So this empowerment and inclusion of women in science, it maximizes talents. That's just what I would say. It maximizes talents and it drives innovation.
Okay, thank you so much. That was also beautiful. And you see, one thing I got from this last 2 points is that visibility. We need visibility. When women are doing things, when young girls are doing things, they need to be seen. And honestly, we're not getting that. It's very rare to see, oh, a girl did this, or a girl. On Twitter, sometimes, just like you said, your younger sister graduated from petroleum and then engineering, and then people were like, how do you do this? Are you sure you could handle tools? Yeah, so it's really amazing to do that. But thank you so much, both of you, for I really enjoyed this. Thank you so much. But before I round up this morning, I'd like to ask Dr. Chidinma, what does OWSD, right? What does that is it an acronym or an abbreviation? What does that mean?
Okay, OWSD means Organization for Women in Science for the Developing World. It's an international organization that encourages women to come together, collaborate, and do mighty things in the world of science.
I love that, mighty things. Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you so much. Okay, wow. So I just want you guys to help me with something. What is one message you'd like to send to any young girl out there watching this right now? Sorry, Doctor. Let me start with Miss Ogi. What is one message you'd like to send to young girls out there and young women?
Okay, just like the theme of this year's International Women in Science, International Day for Women and Girls in Science, is from vision to impact and redefining STEM in closing gender gaps. My message to young girls out there, whether in primary school, secondary school, university, or even as an early career person, is that keep pushing, keep doing what you're good at. Someday you become visible and the world will hear your story.
Thank you so much. You literally spoke to me right now. Thank you so much. And Dr. Chidinma, briefly, could you give us a message for young girls and women?
I want to tell the young girls there, first of all, that we can do it. If I could do it, then you can.
Okay.
So be encouraged, be consistent, be steadfast. Look up to one or two senior persons who you can call a role model, and try to give your best. If you have challenges, we all have challenges. Yes. We all had difficult times, but we pushed through it. In fact, those challenges will make you better. So the main thing is, say, I can do it, keep pushing, and one day you will look back and realize, just like Oge has said, that your vision has turned to reality and impact for the next generation. Because when you train a woman, you train a nation. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, both of you. I'm so grateful that you guys came on our show this morning, and God bless you. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you so much. I had